or if there's one that's the shortest timeline, I think that's it.
Yeah.
What I heard from Mr. Neese was he's fully open to negotiations in the terms of how this project would work. I'm disappointed that that's been shut down, and I'm hoping that that gets revisited, and if something can happen there to make that project feasible, then I'm willing to take another look at that and see what we can do to help. But clearly Redwood Valley is the really only beneficiary of that, and that would have to be discussions between Redwood Valley and with our assistance with Mr. Neese. But if that, and I heard from one party that those negotiations are welcome, that has to happen. But given the district board's decision at this point to shut the door on that, I can't go forward until that comes back with a different result. So if moving forward with Scout Lake, again, focusing with that feasibility study as a part of that on service down here, and then to the whatever degree we can to look at the college too, that would be where my support would be going. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Supervisor Pinches.
The issue, as I stated before, to get the water from the Scout Lake to the Ukiah Valley here, basically we only have to obtain one private right-of-way, and that's through about a half a mile of private. Otherwise, we could use county right-of-way. You know, putting in a water line isn't that expensive. It's not like putting in a sewer line or even utility lines. I mean, you don't have, it's not that, there's not that many requirements you have to do. Probably, you know, you're dropping that water from a 2,200, 2,300 foot elevation to 660 foot elevation. You know, there's another issue here of a great moneymaker, and that's a hydroelectric plant through the power generation of it. So I hope that the feasibility study will, but it isn't that far. You know, my original idea, we were wanting to pump water, you know, from Dos Rios. They're pumping water clear, you know, 700-800 miles at a time and doing it by pumping it. We're talking about gravity flowing water that far. The cost of your pipe when you own the right-of-way isn't that prohibitive. But when you drop almost 2,000 foot and drop an elevation and put a pipe in there, you have a heck of a potential of putting several inline hydroelectric plants, and that's going to be a major, over 50 years, that's going to be a major revenue source. You know, so everybody talks about clean power. Let's do it.
Thank you, Supervisor. I guess it's down to me. I'm all in favor of Scout Lake, the exploration of the feasibility of that. The other items I think are all discussable. They're all good projects. I think my choices would be Scout Lake be one or the other, Calpella or the Neese Reservoir be two, and the college be the last because of obvious other government agency interference and or the red-tailed, yellow-tongued frog problem. I just see that as being a very difficult project. So as far as the first priority, I have no problem with Scout Lake. So to the CEO.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Speaking to the subject of willing partners, our office has had discussions with the City of Willits and with representatives from the Boy Scouts regarding the water use at the lake. I would like to have further discussions with the representatives from the Scouting organization in September when they convene for their next Executive Council meeting. So it would be helpful if I could have some direction from the board today that the board is comfortable with going forward with those. I'm not going to turn them as negotiations because we don't have anything to negotiate, but I'd like to be able to confirm that our office does have consensus from the board that we have a project here that we're willing to move forward with, and then start working on some of the details depending upon how this future studies come out.
So at this point, Supervisor Pinches.
Mr. Chairman, to move this along, I'd like to make a motion that we move forward with the number one recommendation to Scout Lake, and in its utmost urgency, and direct the CEO's office to come back with a recommendation of how to fund the $250,000 feasibility, phase 2 feasibility study. And also, I don't know if, I guess this would be part of the motion, to direct the water agency to focus on the raising of the existing Scout Lake, make that a priority rather than going up there and doing studies on 2 additional reservoirs. I think it's going to cost us less money to focus on raising the 1 lake rather than get in the environmental studies of 2 additional sites. That may be down the road. That might be 40, 50 years down the road, or 30 years. But I think we need to focus on the raising of the existing site, because it's clear that we can get around 3,000 acre feet, and if we can raise it 20, 25 feet, we can probably get around 4,000 to 5,000 acre feet. So if that would be the intent, that's the intent of the motion.
Okay, and to clarify, you're looking for Scout Lake being the number 1 priority, and would that...
I'm recommending moving forward with number 1. Yeah, Scout Lake is the number 1 priority.
Okay, and to further clarify, not eliminating the other 3.